Uh, Before I begin, let us introduce myself. My name is Dr. Piyush Kumar, and basically, I'm going to discuss the paper of history for the PT examination or the PT test series. Right. So before I start discussing the paper, let me discuss some of the very few things, but very important things. Right. Once you decide to appear in the UPSC pre-examination, so some of the things had to be noticed or had to be seen very properly. That whatever the basic facts you are reading, those facts are very important. I mean, suppose you are going for the NCERT, but while writing this PT examination or appearing for this PT examination, one thing must be very clear to you, that the facts are not only the important things in the PT examination, simultaneously the concepts are also very important in the PT examination. So any book you are reading, just don't try to comprehend or understand or mug up the facts of the paper. Simultaneously you must go for the concepts as well. Suppose you are reading about Buddhism or Jainism, so the concepts are also very important, because half of the questions, at least we can say half of the questions of the PT examinations are related to the concepts, not the facts. So facts plus concepts is very much required. So while preparing for this UPSC pre-examination, these kind of things have to be considered. So that is what I wanted to suggest you. Now, as far as this paper is concerned, so let us discuss the paper one by one. So the first question is regarding the Mesolithic period. The question is, consider the following statement regarding the Mesolithic period. The statement number first: the Mesolithic people lived mainly on hunting and food gathering only, as till now they did not start domestication of animal. This statement is wrong, because the Stone Age has been divided into three parts: Paleolithic, Mesolithic and Neolithic. So in the Paleolithic, people were mostly dependent on this hunting and gathering form of economy or mode of economy. But as they enter into the Mesolithic period, so one of the basic or inherent feature of the Mesolithic period was the domestication of animals. So that is why this particular statement is wrong, because this particular phenomena or feature has been started in Mesolithic period. The next, tools of Mesolithic period are called microliths, and their sites have been found at various places in central and eastern India, but they were absent from the western India. Okay, this statement is wrong. Why? Because we have found the Mesolithic sites in all the places: eastern India, southern India, central India, as well as western India. There are so many sites are there in western India, especially Gujarat, Rajasthan area. So this statement is wrong. The last statement: Mesolithic paintings depict human and animal forms more than that of the nature on rock paintings is associated with the occupation they followed. Mostly what happened, so many Mesolithic sites we have found where the Mesolithic paintings are there. Normally these people used to paint on the caves. Basically we can say the sketches on the caves, cave walls. And these sketches, what was the main idea behind these paintings? So the main idea was their day-to-day life. In what way these people were hunting, in what way these people were gathering the some forest products. So this was the main concern of their painting. So the statement number third, that is correct. So the answer will be D, only 3. Question number 2. Which of the statements are true regarding the economic aspects of Indus Valley civilization? Statement number first: the Harappan followed a good agriculture, but they were unaware of the sowing and agricultural seasons. That is completely wrong, because they were completely aware of the agricultural seasons, because on the basis of the seasons they used to choose the the food grains, because they used to cultivate so many forms of like wheat and some other things. So these people were completely aware of the agricultural seasons, and they were they were unaware of the sowing. The statement is saying that is also wrong, because they used to they were completely aware of this sowing. So statement number first is wrong. The next is, furrows were found in Kalibangan during pre-Harappan phase, suggests that the fields were ploughed during the period, but there was absence of any channel or canal irrigation. Definitely these people were not aware of canal irrigation, because this canal irrigation hardly people were using in this canal irrigation in ancient India, because normally this canal irrigation has been started in India somewhere around in medieval period. So this particular statement, and the first part of the statement, that the furrows were found in the Kalibangan. Yes, definitely we have found some furrows in the Kalibangan, and that is actually indicating about the use of agriculture or use of ploughshare in the pre-phase of or early phase of IVC. So the statement number second is correct. Statement number third, they had commercial links with the other regions of the period, and were said to practice navigation on coast Arabian Sea, but they were not acquainted with wheel making. This is wrong actually, because they were completely aware of this wheel making, and normally these people were doing so much trade and commerce on I mean they were trading in on the basis of this wheel carts. So that is why this particular statement is wrong. Apart from that, these people were using the wheels for this pottery making as well. So statement number 3 is also wrong. So out of these 3 statements, only statement number 2 is correct. So the answer will be B only. Question number 3. Consider the following statements about Harappan civilization. Statement number 1. The monuments at Harappa and Mohenjo-daro symbolize the ability of ruling class to mobilize labor and collect taxes. We have found so many important monuments or the structures in IVC, basically in Indus Valley civilization. Once we find such sort of huge architecture or huge monuments, it is simply depicting, or it's simply denoting about their capability of regularize or mobilize the labor, because until and unless the ruling community was capable of mobilizing the labor, it's very tough to construct some such sort of building. And the another thing, if you are creating or if you are developing such sort of monument or architecture, so it is completely or it's very clearly is depicting about their capability to collect the tax, because until and unless the ruling community is capable of collecting the tax, so without the help of that money, it's very tough to create such sort of architecture or structure. So the first statement is actually correct. They were capable of in both. They were capable in both the things. The statement number 2. Harappan civilization is characterized by Harappan civilization is characterized by use black and red ware pottery. Whatever the artifacts we have found in IVC, so normally we find that the maximum use of black and red pottery was there in IVC. So the statement is correct. Statement number 3. Harappa used alphabetical script and it was written from right to left. Actually, this is a wrong statement, because these people are using the pictographic script. What is this pictographic? Because normally they used to pick some symbols, and with the with that particular symbol they used to carry forward the ideas. So it is known as the pictographic, and it was not always written from right to left, because the first statement or the first line has is written from right. Suppose they are writing from left to right, so the second they are going to write from right to left. So that particular style was there, which is normally known as the Bostrofedon style. So this particular style has been carried on. So statement number 3 is wrong. So the answer will be the first and second are correct. So the answer will be the question is which of the above statements are not correct. So statement number 3 is not correct. So the answer will be B. Question number 4. Consider the following statement related to the development of philosophy in India. The first, Vaiseshika school deals with the art of reasoning and interpretation. The second, Mimamsa school gives importance to the discussion of material elements or dravya. Which of the statements are correct? So actually the statements have been interchanged. The Vaiseshika school discussed with the material elements, and according to the Vaiseshika school there are 5 material things. These are earth, water, sky, air and fire. These are the 5 material things, and whatever is seen in this world, all the things were actually made out of these 5 elements, or 5 basic elements, right? But the Mimamsa school is a slightly different school, different thought or different philosophical school. According to this philosophical school, Mimamsa is basically emphasizing on the reasoning and interpretation. But the reasoning and interpretation is basically to justify the Vedic rituals, because according to them the salvation could be achieved through this through these Vedic rituals, and that is why these people have tried to find out the reasonings in the Vedic rituals. So as the statements have been interchanged, so both the statements are wrong. So the answer is D, none of the above. Question number 5. Consider the following statements about the rule of Balban. First statement, Balban harken back to the theory of kingship, which was originally an Afghan concept. Question number 2. According to the theory of kingship, king was a semi-divine in character and answerable only to the nobles. The third, the concept of sajda and pebos were first time introduced by Balban. Which of the above statement is are not correct? So the first statement, the Balban harkened back to the theory of kingship, which was originally an Afghan concept. This statement is wrong because this it was not the Afghan concept, but it was the Iranian concept, because Afghan concept talks about the egalitarianism where nobles are quite equal to the king or to the sultan. But Balban was not believing in this particular theory, because according to him, the king or the sultan is drawing their powers from the god, and that is why there was no equality between the nobles and the nobles and the sultan. So that is why this idea has been this idea is not correct. It was the Iranian theory, not the Afghan theory. So statement number 1 is wrong. The next, according to the theory of kingship, there was a semi-divine king was a semi-divine in character and the answerable only to the nobles. As I discussed earlier, as the sultan was not sharing any sort of equality with the nobles, so it cannot be said, or it is completely wrong he was answerable to the nobles, because it was supposed that he was answerable only to the god rather than to this nobles. So this statement is also wrong. The concept of Sichida and Pebos were first time introduced by Balban. That particular idea is correct because this was introduced in India for the first time by Balban, because Balban always wanted to establish the supremacy of the sultan, and just because of that reason, what happened, he introduced these kind of ideas, as you must be knowing that the Sichda and Pebos, just to show the respect towards the sultan. So that is why the idea number 3 or the statement number 3 is correct. So first and second statement are wrong. So that is why the answer will be D, first and second. Question number 6. Consider the following statements about the Hasala system. It was the land revenue system expressed an average cash rate based on the local productivity and local prices. The statement number 2, the system was introduced by Todermal. Statement number 3, the Hasala system was based on estimation. Which of the above statements are correct? So look at the statement number 1. It was the land revenue system expressed as an average cash rate based on the local productivity and the local prices. So that is the most unique thing in the Hasala system, because these people are in this particular Mughal system. What was happening? These people were calculating the local price or the local productivity and local price, because the fertility of the land could not be equal in complete or in all over India, or in the same way we can say the prices could not be similar, because suppose you are purchasing or you are selling your rice in the eastern part of India, then definitely it would be cheaper as compared to the western India, because in eastern India the rice have been produced a lot, whether in the western India the wheat has been produced a lot, right? So that is why this particular idea has not been kept in mind in the early system, but in the Hasala system they have changed this idea, and now these people have started collecting the local productivity rate or the local food grains, and the another thing is the local prices. So that is the most unique thing in the Hasala system. The first statement is correct. The next statement, the system was introduced by Todermal. Yes, that is true. Earlier this particular idea has been introduced by Sher Shah, but Sher Shah was the ruler, but actual idea was of Todermal, and Todermal was actually functioning, or he was playing the role of finance minister, or he was looking after this land revenue collection system, and that is why this idea has been inaugurated by Todermal. And as it is well known fact, it is a well known fact that Todermal continued as a revenue officer during the period of Akbar as well, and later on this particular system has been modified slightly and introduced during the period of Akbar. So the second statement is correct. Statement number 3, that the Hasala system was based on estimation. That is wrong, because earlier the Kankud system was based on estimation, because once the food has been the crops has been estimated, and according to that it was divided between the ruler and the peasantry community, or ruler and the peasantry community. But this is a wrong, because the Hasala system was completely based upon the measurement of land. So this idea is wrong. So statement number 1 is correct, the second is correct. So the answer will be B. Question number 7. Consider the following regarding the Mughal architecture. Statement number 1. Common characteristics of the Mughal building is the pronounced domes, the slender turrets, and the turrets at the corners, the palace hall supported on the pillars and the broad gateways, right? The statement number second, the Mughal architecture was highly influenced by the Gujarati and Rajasthani architectural style. So choose the correct options. The correct answer is B, both 1 and 2. Why? Because the common characteristics of the Mughal building is the pronounced domes. Definitely the domes people are in, once this Islamic rule has been established in India, so the sultans have, or the even in the Sultanate period, they have started using the domes, because it was one of the Islamic feature, or the Persian feature of architecture. But this Persian feature, once this Sultanate period is coming into India, this Persian feature has been introduced in India as well, but it was not very much pronounced, or the use of dome was not very much dominant idea, because this Indian masons were not capable of building this is glorious domes, we can say. But as the Mughal period is coming, so in that particular time, what happened, some of the Persian architects or the Persian masons, they shifted, or they migrated from there to here, just because of this Mongol attacks on this Central Asia, and just because of that reason, what happened, these people became well versed in making these domes. So that is why we find the use of pronounced domes in this particular period. And the another important features of the Mughal period is the use of minarets at the corners of the building, because this particular phenomena, the feature was not present in the Sultanate period. This is we can say a unique feature of the Mughal architecture, right? So, and the third part of the first statement, the palace hall supported on pillars and the broad gateways. Normally this is one of the unique feature of the Mughal palaces, because these people were using these people were making some big halls which was based upon the pillars, and the pillars, out of the pillars we can find one broad gateway, and this is one of the feature which was universally used by in all the Mughal buildings. So all the features what have been given in this particular statement number first are correct. The second is the Mughal architecture was highly influenced by Gujarati and Rajasthani architectural style. Yes, basically Akbar was the first fellow who got highly influenced by this Rajasthani and Gujarati architectural style, because just it has been said he was highly influenced by the Gwalior fort, which was built by a Rajput fellow, and just he was trying to copy those features in the Mughal architectural style. And apart from that, the Gujarati style, basically the style of kiosk, and some of the structures like this. And basically this particular structure has been used in the minarets, because in the minarets they used to build such kind of structure, and the kiosk over the window. These two particular features have been copied from the Gujarati style. So in the Mughal architecture we can find a copy of this Gujarati and Rajasthani style also. So yes, it can be said statement number first and second, both the statements are correct. Next, despite of getting a huge buzz, Home Rule movement faded away. Consider the following reasons. First, moderates from Congress who joined Home Rule movement after the arrest of Annie Besant were pacified by the Montague's declaration. Yes, in between the Home Rule movement, the Montague's declaration is coming, and it's giving some sort of autonomy to this Indian people, and they were sharing some sort of power with this Indian people, and ultimately these people were pacified, and ultimately this people the Home Rule movement, they have decided to close this Home Rule movement. So this is one of the important reason for the end of this Home Rule movement. Statement number second, Annie Besant was confused whether to support Montague's scheme or scheme of reforms or not. Yes, that is also true. Annie Besant was earlier arrested, she got arrested, but she was confused whether to support this Montague's scheme of reform or not, and just because of that, as the leadership got confused, so that is why the followers got they also got confused, and finally their participation was not that much fluent anymore. So that was also one of the biggest problem with this Home Rule movement. And the third, Lokman Tilak decided to go to the England to pursue his libel case with which he filed against Valentine Serial, because he has written something something wrong about this fellow Tilak, and that is why he decided to pursue his case in London, and that is why he moved to England, and that is why statement number third is also correct. So in this particular question, which of the above reasons are correct? So all the statements are correct, the answer will be A. Question number 9. Consider the following reasons for the Royal Indian Navy revolt that is taking place in 1946, just before the Indian independence. And now what are the statements? The statements are Arayan or the Royal Indian Navy was not happy with the British decision of joining hands with the Russia against Nazi forces. Actually, this has nothing to do with this, Orion mutiny, because it was, basically dependent over some food issues. So this particular idea is not correct. The question number second. Statement number second. The Orion revolt was a result of racial discrimination meted out to the soldiers. As I told you, it was, basically these people were annoyed. This, Indian sepoys of this Orion, these people were annoyed with the racial discrimination, because those English soldiers which were there in the board, these people were, these people, the Indians were not equally treated with these British soldiers, and that is why these people were annoyed, and finally they revolted. So statement number second is correct. The first is not correct. So the answer will be A, because they are asking which of the above statement is correct. So it's only it's 2. Answer will be B, only 2. Statement number 2 is correct. Question number 10. Which of the statement are true regarding the subsidiary alliance? Under the subsidiary alliance, a king was provided with the military security. Yes, that is true, because that was the subsidiary alliance. According to the Wellesley, the king is now supposed to now is not supposed to keep any sort of army, because the security issue was now completely taken over by the Europeans or the British East India Company. So that is why the king, as I told you, the king was not supposed to have any army. So the completely security was in the hands of the European people or the British East India Company. So statement number 1 is correct. Statement number 2. The princely state was the princely states used to remain independent in their internal and external affairs. Just see, these people were slightly free in the internal affairs, and ideally it has been said that these people or the princely states were completely free in the internal affairs. But as far as this external affairs are concerned, so these people were completely not free, because external issues are now completely dealt with the with the resident or by this European East India Company. So that is why this idea is not correct. So the statement number 2 is incorrect. Then the third, under the terms, the company's resident was kept in the court, and the king in the court of the king, and the princely states had to pay an annual amount for it. Yes, this particular statement is correct, because now the king has to keep a resident in the court, and that particular fellow was responsible for the external affairs of that particular princely state, and simultaneously the security issue, and that whatever the army has been kept in the court of the princely state, that has to be bared by the by the princely state. So the statement number 3 is correct. So choose the correct option. So it is first and third. Answer is C. Question number 11. Consider the following statement about the Quit India movement. Communists were opposed to this movement. Yes, actually this statement is true, because in the same time the Second World War is going on, and in the Second World War Britishers were supported by this by this USSR or the Russia, right? So as communist, for the communist Russia was very for the communist people, the Russia was very important country, and as it was the master country, we can say also. So that is why, as Russia was Britain was supported by Russia, so that is why these people or the Indian communists did not want to go against this British people, and basically this East India the colonial rule, and that is why these people were not with this Quit India movement. So the statement number first is correct. Second, the underground activities were reported throughout the India. Yes, what happened with this Quit India movement? In the beginning, all the big leaders were arrested, and that is why what happened? Most of the big leaders were, as I told you, most of the big leaders were arrested. So nobody was there to regulate properly this Quit India movement, and that is why the common mass, they have started doing some some activities being ungrounded. So the statement number 2 is correct. Even Lok Naik, Jayaprakash Narayan was also one of the important leader which was working or associated with this Quit India movement being underground. The statement number 3, parallel governments were formed in some places during this time. What are the correct options? So the question, so many parallel governments were being run in this Quit India movement, because in Bengal we can find, in UP we can find, even in the central province we can find some of the parallel governments, because they have completely diminished the local government, and these people have started, they have started their own rule. So this parallel governments is one of the important feature of this Quit India movement. So statement number first and third are correct. So the correct answer will be, sorry, statement number first, second is also correct. So first, second and third, all the statements are correct. So the answer will be C. Next, question number 12. Chaitanya popularized Kirtan in Eastern India. Chaitanya, and the second statement, Amir Khusro introduced Qawwali. Select the correct options. Look, Chaitanya was one of the important bhakti saint, and basically, as you know, that bhakti is basically, dependent over the devotion of the people towards the God. And Chaitanya has started a new trend to show the devotion, and that was the Kirtan. And through that way, the most of the people were, they were just singing the bhajans and all that, and through that way, these people were supposed to show their devotion to the God. And this particular idea is basically popularized by Chaitanya. Later on, this idea has become widespread in complete India, but definitely this was started, by Chaitanya. So the statement number first is correct. Statement number second, Amir Khusro introduced Qawwali. Select Qawwali. Amir Khusro, he was much associated, or we can say broadly, he was associated with this Indian, Indian musical story, or the journey of India's music. And normally he has been, associated with the invention of this tabla and guitar as well. Simultaneously, it has been said that Amir Khusro was the fellow who introduced Qawwali. It was new form of singing, right? So this Qawwali, both the statements are correct. So the answer will be both 1 and 2. Question number 13. The concept of Chaitya and Biharas are mainly associated with. Look, the concept of Chaitya. What is Chaitya? Normally, this is the worship place where people used to go, for the worship reason or for the worship purpose. And Biharas are the place where people, basically the monks, used to stay, especially in the rainy seasons. This idea has been, widespread in all the religions, we can say, but basically this is related with this, Buddhism, because Buddhism has started this particular tradition. And normally the Chaityas and Viharas have been, in cave architectures we can find so many Chaityas and Viharas have been constructed. So that we can say that this idea has been mainly associated, or these ideas have been mainly associated with Buddhism. So the answer will be A. Question number 14. Which of the following reasons are correct about the rise of Jainism and Buddhism? The question number first, statement number first, people in this age wanted to go back to the pre-Iron Age life. Statement number second, Vedic practice of killing cattle indiscriminately stood in the way to the progress of the new agriculture. Statement number first, look, basically this Buddhism and Jainism have they have come up with different sort of models. Normally these people were proposing two sort of models. And what were these different two sort of models? The first model is about the monastic life. What was happening in the monastic life actually? These people, now this is the period of 6th century BC, and so many changes are taking place in 6th century BC. Now the economy has completely moved beyond the previous era, because now these people are highly commercialized. So much trade and commerce has been started. Urbanization was one of the important phenomena, and it has been said that some people were not capable of adjusting with this different economic scenario, and that is why these people were not happy with this existing society, and these people wanted to go backward, and these people were, they were thinking to they were thinking of being more happy in the pre-Iron Age, because that time the development or the economic development was not like the 6th century BC. So that is why, according to one model which is known as the monastic model, there these people had to stay in the in the monasteries, and there was no concept of private property. So that is why one idea has been this was one of the idea which was suggested by this Buddhism and Jainism. So statement first is correct, that they wanted to go back to the pre-Iron Age life, but that was true only for the monasteries or the people who were living in the monasteries. The second statement, the Vedic practice of killing cattle indiscriminately indiscriminately stood in the way of the progress of new agriculture. As I told you, the new agriculture is, or the new economy was basically based upon the surplus, right? Because whatever the new developments we are seeing, so all the new developments were basically based upon, or we can dependent on over this surplus. What is this surplus? Basically the extra, that is the roughly we can define this term as extra. Because if there are some extra in the agricultural farm, so this extra has to be invested in some of the other activities, like secondary economy activities, or the state formation, or the development of this new religions. So this extra, and so as we are discussing about this surplus, so now it's very easy to understand that this surplus was behind the all sort of development whatever we are seeing in the 6th century BC, and this surplus was very much dependent on the bulls, because ultimately the agricultural farm, the bulls were very important. But as per the Brahminical rituals, the bulls or the bullocks have been slaughtered just in the name of in the rituals. That is why this was against the development of 6th century 6th century BC, the economy of 6th century BC. And as it has been said ki Buddhism and Jainism was not only against this idea, but simultaneously these people were somehow promoting this new the new form of economy, where secondary economic activities were very important, where the trade and commerce were very important. So just because of this reason, somehow they wanted to protect this Vaisya community or the creation of surplus. So this idea also can be termed right. So both the statements are right, although it seems contradictory, but in different theories both the ideas are right. So the answer will be C, 1 and 2. Question number 15. Mitachara is one of the, consider the following statements. Mitaksara is one of the two Hindu law schools. The next statement, the Tamil version of Ramayana is attributed to Kamban. The third, Warren Hastings translated Bhagavad Gita into English. Select the correct options. Look, let us discuss the first statement. Mitaksara is one of the two Hindu law schools. Normally, it has been said in India there are two schools of Hindu laws. These are the Daibhag and Mitakshara. And normally this Mitakshara has been practiced in the northern India. Normally this UP, Punjab, Haryana and Bihar area. And the another was Daibhag. There are so many branches of this Mitakshara school as well. But the another one is Daibhag. That Daibhag school has been practiced in Odisha and Bihar region. So yes, this is true that the Mitakshara is one of the two Hindu law schools. Next, the Tamil version of Ramayana is attributed to Kamban. Yes, the Kamban has written a book which is known as the Ramavataram, and it is popularly known as Kamban Ramayana, right? So this statement is correct. The third, Warren Hastings translated Bhagavad Gita into English. Look, Warren Hastings didn't translate the Bhagavad Gita. It was the Bilkins who translated this book, Bhagavad Gita, into English. But the introductory part has been written by Warren Hastings. So that, but it cannot be said that he has written this book. He has translated the book of Bhagavad Gita. So statement number first and second are correct. So it is answer A. So that is all. I am done with this history questions. So that's all.